Hey guys, how's it going? In this video, we're going to be doing an unboxing, and I'm going to give my first impressions on the iPhone 17. This phone is available at the time of this video. I have the 512GB storage model here in the black color. Let's check it out. Inside the box, have our device on top here. Also have our USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable and the tiniest bit of paperwork with these iPhones. Let's get that out of the way. Let's check out the star of the show here, the iPhone 17. Once again, we finally have a base iPhone that is honestly worth covering here on the channel now because it now finally has ProMotion 120Hz refresh rate. It is something that has been holding me back on the past iPhones. I tried last year's iPhone 16 Plus and returned it because I couldn't stand the 60Hz refresh rate for the $1,000 price I paid for that phone. So I'm so glad to see the 120Hz here on the base iPhone, and there is still a lot here going on with this iPhone 17. Even though it isn't the Pro model. We're just missing the telephoto lens. There's a little bit of an inferior Type-C port on it. But aside from those two aspects, we still have the camera control. We still have the action button. Everything is still as you'd expect here. We just have the A19 chip in this instead of the A19 Pro. But this iPhone 17 is definitely the best value option out of all the iPhones, especially with the iPhone Air coming out here. There are some benefits on this 17 over the Air despite this being less expensive. But this 17 has a much lighter weight. So put this on my scale, coming in at just 176 grams. Compare that to the similarly sized Pro model. It's coming in over 200 grams, 205 grams. It's a noticeable difference here, and it's not all that far off from the Air. The Air is at 163 grams. So even though we have this crazy new Air phone, just a 12 to 13 gram difference on these two phones. We have a very lightweight package over here. Great feel in the hand, rounded on all the edges of this. And I would say this is a very competitive option compared to something like the Galaxy S25 from this year. Both of these with a similar form factor of 6.3 inches. It is nice that Apple still is maintaining a relatively smaller phone in their lineup, considering the Air does have a larger nature to it with it being a larger screen, even though it is lighter and thinner, and the Pro model just being very chunky and heavy here at launch. There's definitely a lot to be excited for with this iPhone 17, even though it might not be the most flashy and exciting option here at launch. And now here's our first look at the 6.3-inch display on the iPhone 17. I'm loving that this is the same exact screen size as on the Pro. Finally, for the first time, we are not getting a compromised screen on this lower, cheaper iPhone 17 versus the Pro model. So we have what looks like similar looking displays and brightnesses here. So I love that that Pro aspect of all these iPhone Pros over the years is now on the base 17, because I know I've probably said it a bunch of times already, but a much lighter feel on this iPhone 17. Just thinking about all the capabilities this phone has in this lightweight of a package. Of course, getting in Face ID is just super quick and responsive every single time. And a quick side-by-side look with the iPhone Air having a 6.5-inch display. You are definitely giving up some screen real estate on this iPhone 17, but again, with it being pretty similar weight to this Air, while having extra functionality and a lower price, is honestly pretty tough to pass up this year on the iPhone 17 unless you absolutely need a larger display phone. Taking a look at the rear cameras for the 17, we do have the ultra-wide here that we don't have on the iPhone Air. However, no telephoto lens on this, so there's also a 2x zoom option in Apple's viewfinder, but everything beyond here is just going to be digital quality, and it maxes out at a 10x digital zoom. The Pro can zoom up to 40x. This has just the 10x, and the zoom is a lot more capable and versatile on the Pro. But I'd say keep in mind, is it worth that to you? Because the weight savings on this iPhone 17, and obviously the money savings as well, I feel like this iPhone 17 is just the best value proposition by far. I'm liking the smaller size, lighter weight on this while still having most of the 17 Pro's features, really just with the exception of not having the telephoto lens on the back. One thing I'm not entirely wild about on this iPhone 17 is that this is the black color. However, it is very apparent to me it's just gray. I wish they would just have called it gray instead of black. Now I'm kind of considering getting a different color possibly. To be honest, I thought this iPhone 17 was going to be the least interesting out of all the options, and yes, it is still just a conventional slab smartphone like anything else nowadays. But it is really nice to see the ProMotion 120Hz on this. A very good looking bright display. Excellent camera systems. I'm liking the video cameras enough. It's already jumped into my filming for my YouTube videos. Let me know your initial thoughts on the iPhone 17 in the comments below. Be sure to give a like on your way out. And thanks so much for watching. Take care.